campaigns. But this is not like any campaign I've worked on. You know, this is different. Now, let me take you back to Dukakis. Look what they did to Dukakis. And Willie Hort. Now let me take you to 2000. A certain candidate, a Republican candidate, he adopts a child from Bangladesh. Her skin tone and my skin tone are pretty much the same. So what was the inference made to defeat him? That he had fathered this child out of wedlock with a black woman in South Carolina. Smearing this candidate, smearing his wife. And yet, of course, that was the year of the Confederate flag. You see, certain people in this country, and I shouldn't say this, but let me just go on and just put it on the rug. Because the Democratic Party has also had to come forward out of a bad history. Remember, it was the Democratic Party that Fannie Lou Hamer had to integrate. So we're not clean. We're not clean by no stretch of the imagination. I can tell you in every election I've worked on, Julie, Dave, where's Julie? Julie will tell you, I have had to tell some Democrats about themselves. Straight up. No chaser. I say, so you have spent all the money, and yet you expect me to get out the black vote with what? You have spent all the candidates' time talking about this, this, and this, but you can't come to church 2 weeks before the election? And what are you telling my community that you're not telling the other community? Tell everybody the same thing. So I've had to tell my Democrats, and this wasn't 8 years ago, I told them this 2 years ago. I've been telling them that now. You can tell Barack Obama, don't take us for granted. So I'm clear about this, but I've also told the Republicans, don't divide us. Don't distort, Senator Obama's record. And don't make this so nasty, so vile, that on election day, we know what might happen. Now, I'll just put one more thing, because I'm talking straight, no chase. When they went after Gwen Ifill, a moderator, PBS anchor woman, she moderated the vice presidential debate in 2004. Did anyone call her out of her name? Did anyone threaten her in 2004? All of a sudden, she was the enemy. She was booed. There were internet campaigns to try to derail her. Again, this is part of a pattern, and this is why this election is so important. We can end this. We can end this politics of division, this politics of pettiness, this politics of pitting people, but it's our turn. We have to do it on election day. We got to vote these people out. Retire them.
Liz, how you doing?
Hello.
Say hello. Ms. Brazile, my pleasure. My name is Michael Kuba, Ali Obey. Some of you know me as Firm as soon as I changed it. I'm with the African American Media Network. We're a local television origination organization. Just like to ask you, given the racial undertones that are being prospered or brokered in this election process, what are the chances for a white backlash should Obama win the election?
Well, if you look at all the polls, and I haven't seen the latest one that's coming out, and this is why, again, people in media need to be very responsible. Senator Obama would not be the nominee of the Democratic Party had he not been able to capture the white vote. I often tell people that before you can get gravy, which is blacks and Latinos to put you over the top, you need some potatoes. You can go get some potatoes and we grave it. Now, I think it's important when we characterize polling information that looks into voting behavior as well as, potential trouble that Obama might encounter. I'm not naive as to say that race might not be a determinant factor, but I'm saying that given the polls right now, 2/3 are white. 2/3 are white. This is the gut number. 2/3, well over 60% said that they have no problems voting for Obama, knowing his racial background. 1/3 of whites expressed some concerns. There's been further analysis done about unconscious racism that people don't know they have. And even when they put all of that in the package. It's still 1/3 of white. Now, here's the good news or bad news, however you want to take this news. Al Gore had problems with those whites. Bill Clinton had problems with those whites. No Democrat have won the white vote since Lyndon Johnson in '64. Democrats get by with about 37 to 40% of white voters, and the rest come from many of you in this room. So let's talk about race in a positive way, because that night on January 3rd, when I saw the caucus scores, and see, what you don't know about people who attend caucus, we don't know exactly how many people in the room voted. We know the percentage. But can you imagine the number of people who showed up so that Obama would come out with 38% of the vote? That's a lot of white people in Iowa. There are not a lot of black people. Every time I go there, I double the black population. It is amazing that Obama, the night of February 5th, Super Duper Tuesday, Tsunami Tuesday, he won Idaho. He won Alaska. He won Colorado. Of course, he won Georgia. Didn't do as well in New York. But, so this journey has been made possible by voters of all persuasions. And I think for us to make this election, again, people want to say it's the black people getting them in, and those black people are illegal, those Hispanics are, don't buy into the hype. Stay positive. It is because people are demanding change. They want to break away from this past, and they want the country to get back on the right track. I don't believe we will see as much backlash, but again, there are people who like to stir it up and trouble the water. We just have to remain calm. Our tone needs to be professional, because on election night, we got a lot of work to do. We, as a country, have a lot of work to do, and I think Obama will set the tone for us that night, and we can, just hold our joy until Sunday and go to church. But Obama will set the tone as president-elect, just like Al Gore. Al Gore, I tell people this, I'll never forget when Al Gore wanted to concede. I wanted to take my shoe off. He conceded, he called George Bush, and I'm like, it ain't over. I felt the injustice. It was 9:45. Secret Service looked at me. I said, I was ready. I said, you never concede. I had my BlackBerry, and he was right there. Never surrender. I was doing everything to get his attention. And he called Bush and conceded. And then 2 hours later, called to take the concession back. And I was right there. And when the president, the then governor said, my brother, I said, who cares? I said, dang it. I'm back there. I was so happy. Because my own sister that day in Florida had to produce not one, not two, but 3 forms of ID. I knew that morning that there was trouble in the land. So, and I'll tell you another, when that Supreme Court ruled, y'all know, some of y'all don't know my real history. Y'all don't know I'm not running. I used to organize all the big marches in D.C. I'm an organizer. So when they said, we're trying to organize, make King's birthday holiday, I'm 22. Raise my hand. We're trying to organize the 20th anniversary of King's Historic March on Washington. Go back and read the New York Times, August 27, 1983. Big old picture of me at Afro. At age 22, that was me. I am an organizer. I felt like saying, Gore, how many people you want on the mall tomorrow? 1 million? 2? Let's fight this Supreme Court. And the vice president said to me, Donna, we can't fight this. We have to leave the country now. And I said, leave them to what? Bush? That's an injustice. They use a civil rights. I'm not a lawyer. Civil rights provision. I was angry. And he chilled me. Took me a couple of months to be chilled. But I'm saying, you have to be very careful. We have to all be very careful. Because the only way to stoke any kind of animus, racial animus, white backlash, black backlash, any backlash, is by our actions and our words. So I'm going to leave it at that, but I think it's going to be a